Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is showing no signs here whatsoever of slowing down when it comes to brand new exciting announcements here for this upcoming Dragon Ball game. Rounding out this list here of all these characters that have been revealed, it's only fitting though that I have one question in terms of my expectations for the game here, besides the fact that it looks absolutely top notch, and the gameplay is also getting revamped as well. It seems like with every new gameplay trailer that comes out, the game only gets that much seemingly more impressive, updating everything to even greater levels it seems. But one question that I can't help but pose here is the fact that where are the movie characters at? Are they even going to be included in this game at all? Or are they going to be merely relegated to downloadable characters in the future here? So today then everyone, we're going to be discussing here the possible future of the Dragon Ball movie characters. So if you enjoy what you see from this video in particular, and want to see what else I've got coming out for you all in terms of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero content, then be sure to let me know down below your thoughts on this video, and also what characters you want to see up here in Sparking Zero here, as well as if you want movie characters from the original Dragon Ball films to appear in this game at all as well. Do you want them to be included merely in the base game roster, or to be unlockable at some point, say after completing story mode with all the characters that will be featured here? Or, for a more simple take, do you want them just to be downloadable characters that will be either free or paid DLC after this game eventually releases here? Take it from me though, as someone who grew up and played the original Budokai Tenkaichi trilogy back in the day, I for one would love, absolutely adore, if the movie characters could perhaps be unlockable characters that are hidden away here in the game's files, waiting to be unleashed. It's a shame nowadays that a lot of fighting games don't have too many characters that are available to be unlocked, instead of having the cast merely be all completely unlocked right from the start. To change things up and really give a nice nod to fans of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, I feel in particular it would be very, very nice for a change of pace to have the movie characters be relegated to being unlocked by the player, maybe say the tournament modes, have some of the characters only be accessible by beating the World Tournament modes on all the various difficulties, including, say, Novice, Adept, Advanced, and even Cell Game settings. Give us something to really look forward to here when we finally get our hands on Sparking Zero. When it does end up releasing here at the end of this year, it's only going to be that much more impressive. These movie characters aren't just another set of fighters. They deserve to be represented just as much as any of the characters from Dragon Ball Super, and of course Dragon Ball Z, and the like. But speaking of which, there are no signs yet, besides Master Roshi, of there being any actual original Dragon Ball characters so far revealed. There's no word at all whatsoever on Dragon Ball GT yet. That's a whole another topic that I did in a previous video. So if you'd like to see that and hear my thoughts on Dragon Ball GT and its fate for Sparking Zero so far, be sure to check that out as well, if you're interested in doing so. Getting back to the topic here at hand, what exactly will be the fate of these movie characters? What's going on with them? And will we even end up seeing any of them at all? To be fair, the only movie character we've seen in a brief trailer snippet for about a few seconds was actually Goku's father Bardock. That aside, there aren't any actual movie characters that have been revealed officially yet by Bandai Namco. So take that with a grain of salt, a pretty big grain of salt if you ask me. I really just hope that at the end of the day, the movie characters get their own time to shine and their own chance to be represented here in full when Sparking Zero launches. I understand that times have changed, but for these characters though, it would be nice just to have them in the game as a sort of bonus here, as a thank you. And like I said, a reference to the older games and the fans that actually grew up with that series. Otherwise, it would just be a huge slap in the face to be like, hey, remember all these characters you liked to play as before? Well, tough luck. Now you're going to have to pay us for them to play as them again. I feel like it just would not sit right at all with the majority of the fans, myself included here, to have to pay for characters that I could easily play as if I just boot up Tenkaichi 2 or 3. That just would not sit well with me at all, guys. So, let me know, though, down below what characters you want to see appear here from the movies in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Are there any that you don't want to appear? That I would absolutely love to have included is, of course, Tapion and his counterpart Hirudegarn, the villain of the movie, from Dragon Ball Wrath of the Dragon. And also, Janemba's chubbier form from Dragon Ball Fusion Reborn as well. You know, speaking of giants, another giant character I'd love to see here in Sparking Zero also would have to be Dr. Wheelo and his gigantic mechanized body. Taking from the second movie, Dragon Ball, the world's strongest film, I feel like this could really be one character that deserves to have their time to shine and to really have their movie be represented here in full. Take it for what it's worth here, but this is just my 2 cents on a few characters I'd love to have included here amongst the roster of legends in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Let's go ahead though now and talk about a few other characters I'd love to have included. That being, of course, the androids. More specifically, androids 13, 14, and 15 from the Dragon Ball film Super Android 13, along with Android 13's transformed state. Moving on from there though, how could I forget to include Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan in his 3 forms? That's not where I'm stopping though, guys. For I would love, as a hot take here, to have Bio Broly finally included in a Budokai Tenkaichi style game, but also, to top it all off, add his giant transform state into the game as well to really throw the fans for a loop. I feel like Bio Broly, if done properly, could be one of the best movie characters here, bar none. And not just because he doesn't talk or have any real meaningful voice lines. That's not what I mean. There could be some really interesting movesets created for Bio Broly if given enough time and resources. So for what it's worth, I'm voting for Bio Broly. Moving on though from there, I'd also say that as a recommendation, I'd love to have Bojack in this game as well, along with his powered up form, but also his henchmen as well. All of them from Zanga, all deserve to be finally playable, separately might I add, in Sparking Zero here as well. And then I'd say, to round things out, to have more Namekians in the game, because we just had Nail confirmed for the game, and of course Piccolo being a staple of the franchise and whatnot, why don't we get Lord Slug? You know, throw in him with his giant form. There you go, you got another Namekian to put on a team here with Piccolo and Nail. Hey, that's all good in my book. One more movie character in particular I'd say has to be Turles, the original Goku Black, if you will, from the movie Dragon Ball The Tree of Might, or as it's known in Japan, The Tree of Godly Might. Turles would be a very interesting choice as well to add to Sparking Zero here, and to really help round out the roster when it comes to Saiyan representation. But also, one thing I think needs to be included is his Great Ape form, to add another giant to the roster as well. Because I mean, hey, this game needs a lot more giant characters, and I'm all for that, even if it has to come from, well, movie characters here, and their giant forms and the like. So, I'd say though that, on that note, when it comes to these movie characters, if they all can be included, honestly, really happy and really proud of Bandai Namco for taking the time here and energy and effort and really giving them the proper love that they deserve to have. Since they were all in Budokai Tenkaichi 3 after all, I would just love for them to simply return here and make another proper appearance in full to round out the cast of fighters here that are playable in Sparking Zero at the end of the day. I'd say though that moving on from there, I'm not too sure about how characters would be implemented though from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I mean, we could of course expect to see Gohan and his Beast transformation, along with the 2 new androids introduced, that being Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and the big baddie from the film, Cell Max, in his giant form. So that's a few more characters to add right there to the roster, including another giant as well. I'd say otherwise though, unless a new movie comes out sometime after Sparking Zero launches, maybe those characters could be implemented as well as, I guess, most likely DLC if we're being honest here. I'd say though that in terms of any other Dragon Ball movies or films, characters that would be a wise choice for the roster would either have to be very obscure ones, like say from the Cooler movies with Frieza's brother. Of course, including him is a no-brainer there, but also you could say Cooler's Armored Squadron with Dore, Knees, and Salza. Now, they were playable originally in Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 many moons ago, but having them all be separate characters here with their own unique movesets, I feel like could be a small challenge given the fact that they don't really do a whole lot in the movie that they're in, and then quickly brushed aside, of course, for Goku to go up against Cooler in the main fight of that film. But for what it's worth, I'd say that that would be a very interesting take for sure, to have all of them included as well. But speaking of Raging Blast 2 though, one other hot take I can't help but emphasize here and include on this list is that being Hachiyak from Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2's bonus material, which is a remake of an older Dragon Ball film called Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans, and was redubbed as Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans. I feel like Hachiyak could be a very cool character to bring back here and revive as a real novelty, one that will no doubt probably throw many fans for a loop, if not more so than having Bio Broly included here on the roster for Sparking Zero. And I feel like that could really help to round out things here, and really have these movie characters truly stand out with their own variety of blast skills here and movesets to work and play off of. It's really just a no-brainer here, guys. With all that being said, what movie characters, if any at all, do you want to see included here in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? Either in the base game, unlockable in some way for free, or by, well, going the downloadable route and having them be relegated to DLC roles here. You know, for this game, the sky is truly the limit, and I really do hope that this becomes the best Dragon Ball game it can possibly be here at the end of the day when everything is, well, said and done. And so then, on that note, I'd say that just about wraps everything up here regarding my thoughts in particular on the movie characters' inclusion in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this though from me, and are looking forward to all my other future content down the road. Until my next video when we all meet again, I've been your host for today, Azure, and I am signing off. But be sure to keep it tuned right here for all this and much more from me. So then guys, until next time, I'll be sure to catch you all on the flip side.
Challenge accepted. Come at me. Wow, that kind of stuff. No mercy. Justice is absolute. This. Once I defeat you, I shall achieve the very pinnacle of strength. And now you will taste my blade. Not bad. Want to see if you can keep up? Bet you can't. Rejoice and praise be. Together, we shall achieve the very pinnacle of radiance. Let the wrath of a god sink in. This is